Hey, welcome to Casa Coca. Today I got a treat for you. Today I got an iconic ingredient of Portuguese cuisine. It's been known to exist over 1,000 recipes for this one ingredient. It is dated over 500 years ago, its production. It's none other than, I think you guessed it, bacalhau. Like the Spanish call it bacalhau. I've grown eating bacalhau. I'm gonna cook for you one of the dishes that is very fond to my family, which is basically a fish pie, a creamed fish pie. Here I got the bacalhau. It's been soaked overnight. I've changed the water around 3 times just to remove the excess salt. And yeah, let's start. So I got these big pieces here. I'll just cut them a little bit smaller so they will fit on the pot. Oof. Yes, you don't need much bacalhau for this dish because we have potatoes as well. And bacalhau, if you live in Scandinavia or England, it's quite pricey and is sometimes hard to find. This one, my mother was just over for holidays and she brought me around, 6 kilos of it. That's one of the things I always ask her, Mom, bring me bacalhau. Because I found over the net and the price is just crazy for what you get. So this is Portuguese bacalhau. Norway is one of the big exporters. So then we put some milk because with the cooking liquid we're gonna make a bechamel. So just a tiny bit of, just a little bit, no, I wouldn't say a tiny bit, but just enough to almost cover it, and then you can cover it with water. Yeah, that's what I've done here. Now I'm gonna cook it and then I'll show you what to do next. Bacalhau is on the stove. Now we're just gonna boil it, so enough that you can pick the meat off the bones. And then while that happens, while the bacalhau is cooking, I'm gonna prepare the potatoes. I'm gonna use this terrine dish, as you see here. Let me remove this from the way. I'm gonna use this terrine dish. And rule of thumb is like, you see the dish that you wanna cook, and then you're just gonna fill it up with potatoes. So I like to dice my potatoes. You can slice them. You can pretty much be creative. Cut them like big pieces. But I like, over the years, I've adapted my recipe so it can be quick to make. Because when I learned this recipe through my auntie, she used to make it like slicing the potatoes. And you can imagine, if you have to cook for 10 people, you're just going to spend all day slicing potatoes. So I like to dice mine quite roughly. I would say like this size, as you can see here. Yeah. Doesn't have to be a science. All right, here we go. So then I got myself an oven tray. I'll spray some oil. Lay them on the tray. You can add some oil, but I like to reduce my calorie content of my foods if it's not really necessary. Some people like to get a coating on the potatoes. I don't find it necessary because we're going to add cream later. We're going to add a bechamel. So I'm always thinking ahead and trying to cut down the excess calories. So yeah, then you go straight in the oven. And I would say around 200 degrees for about 20 minutes. I got here a tray that I've done earlier. And then we're gonna grate some carrots. And I promise you, this dish, if you're gonna cook for friends and family, they will be asking you every time they're gonna meet you. Oh, can you cook that dish again? Can you cook that cod again? But one thing, don't cook cod. A lot of people are sensitive to the smell. So cook before they arrive so that the smell goes away. We have family members that, yeah, the smell just puts them off. So cook it before, and then before they arrive, yeah, you have it already ready, prepared, so you're just gonna put it in the oven. Just a tip for you. Okay, we got the carrots here. So now we're just gonna wait for the bacalhau to cook and start picking the meat. Yes, it's cooked. So let's just remove it from the fire. And this one, put it down. Bring it up here. Remove it from the milk. Because like I said before, we're going to make a really nice, quick bechamel. For this recipe, I'm going to make gluten-free. So basically, I'm just going to use some potato starch. I'll just thicken up this liquid. But if you don't have any problems with gluten, I would recommend you do the traditional bechamel. So melt the butter, add the flour, mix, and then add the milk, warm milk slowly, and then thicken up like that. Over the years, I stopped using wheat flour. I'm allergic. When I work with it, I start sneezing, and it gets a bit not very pleasant. So I stopped using. But yeah, the result is the same in my opinion when you just use a starch, corn starch, potato starch. It doesn't really change much the flavor or the texture. I will also be using milk-free cream. This one is made from oats. It's quite decent. But I will show you a trick, because I don't know if you notice, when you use these vegetable substitutes for dairy, if you cook, let's say a gratin or something in the oven, when you serve it, it's not creamy. It loses that creaminess. It becomes like water. So the trick I do is I put it in the end. I cook it, the stew, on a little bit of cream, and then in the end, just before serving it, I'll put a lot of cream. So you will get that creaminess from the traditional cream. So the milk it's here. I'll just put it on the side. I won't need it for now. The fish is quite warm. So now we have to pick the bones out. Try to take your time, because it's not very pleasant when you get a bone stuck in your throat, but do the best you can. Yes, so let me do that now. Pick the meat. I don't have gloves, so I'm gonna just have to use my hands and this tongue. Just do it here on the chopping board. I've just picked all the fish from the bones. Do a good job if you have children, because the bones sometimes is hard to see. It's happened many times where my son points out, "Oh, Papa, look, you missed one." He always makes sure he does that, if I do. Just do it slowly. Wait for the fish to get cold so you can actually put the fingers to it. If you do it when it's warm, then you're going to be like, and then you try to do it fast so you don't burn, and you may end up doing a bad job. So 2 garlic cloves, just crushed with a knife, or if you have a garlic crusher, and then just like this, and just like that. Then I got some olive oil into a hot pan, frying pan. Then I'll just do the garlic just quickly. You don't want a color on the garlic, so you're going to have to be quick. Then you put the fish. Yes. Then you break the fish into small pieces. We had the carrots, the grated carrots. Voila. Here you just wanted everything to get the flavor of the garlic and to get a nice coat of olive oil. Bacalhau is a salted fish. When you soak it overnight and changing the water constantly, try not to remove all the salt, leave some salt in. So you will notice that I won't add any salt into the dish. In the end, if you see like, oh, maybe you de-soaked it way too much and it doesn't taste like salt, you can always add in the end a little bit of salt. But if the fish was salty and you add more salt before the end, then you end up with a very salty dish, and it's not very pleasant for yourself or for your guests. So now, next one, bechamel. I'll just put a little bit of butter. Let me move this to the side so you can see. I just added some butter into the cooking liquid from the bacalhau. Then just 1 teaspoon, one nice, okay, maybe 2 teaspoons of potato starch and some water. Dissolve it. And we get a spoon. Then we'll put the meat into the one bowl, scrape everything. Let's add some coriander. You can add some dill as well, or parsley, whatever you like. A lot of people don't like coriander. I love coriander. That smell, it ticks all the boxes for me. But I got friends that he says it tastes like soap. So it's different for everyone. But I'm sure there's a herb out there that you enjoy eating it. Yeah, mix it well. Voila. Get a Then we add the gluten-free, milk-free bechamel. Yeah, like I said before, it's quite runny. Then we add the potatoes. So everything is mixed here. We pretty much on our final stretch. Then you just pass it on into the tureen dish. Just put it down there. It will go into the oven around 180 degrees for about 35 to 40 minutes. And while that cooks, I'm just going to tie it up over here. And then when I'm coming back, I'll show you how to finish off. And then I'm going to enjoy it. So stay tuned. And yeah, I'll come back shortly. Let me take it out. It looks nice, but like I said before, because it's dairy free, this vegan creams, they tend to lose their consistency, so I tend to add lastly, so it keeps nice and creamy like it's meant to be. So once it's cooked, just add lastly, and then you put maybe another 5 to 10 minutes back in the oven, and the creams will remain nice like a cream is meant to be, not watery. Just keep that in mind every time you use it for a gratin or something like that. Try to save half for last, and I promise you, your guests won't even tell the difference. Okay, so back in the oven. For another 8 minutes. Oh, look at this. It looks absolutely amazing. Amazing. So here you go. I hope you enjoyed learning about this recipe. Like I said, Bacalhau has got over 1,000 recipes, so I'm sure if you follow this channel, you're gonna be coming across more recipes, recipes that I grow up with and others that I've learned along the way with Bacalhau. I love this ingredient and I can never get enough of it. So have a nice day, and yeah, till next time. Mmm.